Hi everyone, my name is Katy and thank you for joining me for another video. Today we will be updating my reading bullet journal for the month of February and getting it ready for March. So let's get started. The first thing I need to do is fill out my bookshelf spread for February. I have already written in the names of all of the books that I read, so then I'm just going in with the correct color markers based on the star ratings and filling in each of the books that I read. It was very satisfying to completely fill up this second shelf, and I feel like I am going to run out of space on this spread fairly soon. And that's okay, because I will get to make another one of these spreads, and they are definitely some of my favorites to make. Next, I am filling out my Zodiac Reads spread. So this is my favorite book from the Aquarius season, and this year it was Children of Fallen Gods. So I am just going to paste that in there. Then I am filling in my series tracker. I read another book in the Entangled with Fae series, but I didn't make any other progress on these pages, so I'm just flipping ahead. Next, I just need to fill out my stats for the month. So this month I read 9 books, which is really good for me, but only one of those was physical, and my goal this year is to work through my physical TBR. So I need to be a bit better at that if I want to hit my goals. I've been keeping up with these spreads, but I finally get to cross off my first arc of the year in Sunbringer. And then I'm flipping ahead to my Year of Adventure spread. I am filling out the reading prompt on the left side and then pasting in the book cover on the right side. And now it is time to fill out my stats for my February cover page. So I'm just filling in the books read, pages read, average rating, and my favorite book of the month. And now onto the book reviews. So I fill these out as I read the books throughout the month, and I just need to put in the book covers. So first I read A Taste of Poison, which is the 4th book in the Entangled with Fae series, and I ended up doing a whole spread on that one. Same with Good Omens. I read The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, and it was pretty mediocre and average for most of the book, but I really did not like how it handled infertility in this book, and I would caution you, if you are sensitive to pregnancy struggles, to read the trigger warnings before reading this one. I continued on in the Shatter Me series, reading 2 of the novellas and the next mainline book. They were all pretty okay. I'm starting to see why people really like Warner and really don't like Adam. And I really disliked Adam's novella because it was just not a lot happened. It seemed kind of pointless, and it didn't make me like his character anymore. So yeah, it was really short also. Moving on, I read the new Ali Hazelwood book, Bride. It is her first paranormal romance, and I have never read anything close to Omegaverse, so that was interesting for me, and it was okay. The world building was a bit lacking, I would say. Sometimes I forgot that our main girl was even a vampire, but I think it's fun. It was fun that Ali Hazelwood tried this, and I hope that she continues to do more paranormal romance. It seems like it's something she's really interested in. Then I read Sunbringer, which I loved and did a whole spread for. And because of the new Dune movie, I reread Dune. I had read that before in high school, and I'm on the hype train for the new movie, so I had to reread it this month as well. I did a 1-page spread for A Taste of Poison. I am using these adorable stickers by Mushyworks and washi tape by Simply Gilded and Notebook Therapy. I love how this looks with the stickers that I chose. It is a Snow White retelling, so these Snow White stickers were of course perfect for it. This is the 4th book in this series, but they can all be read as standalones mostly. This one wasn't my favorite of the series. I felt like the world building was almost a little bit confusing. There's this Seven Sins Hotel thing going on, and it just took me a while to get into the story and to really care about our main character. I also wish that the forced proximity between the two main characters lasted a bit longer. Like, they're handcuffed together, but it's over within like a couple chapters. But otherwise, it was fun. It had all of the things that I like about this series, just being pretty lighthearted and in this really fun world. Overall, I just didn't like the new pieces of the world that were added, I guess, in this book as much as what we've seen in the other books. There were a few twists and turns and reveals that are made throughout the book that I found a bit predictable. That's okay, you know, it was still fun. And I really did like the love interest. He was checking most of my boxes. He also shifts into a bear, which was new and fun, I guess. But overall, this one wasn't my favorite. Snow White isn't my favorite fairy tale anyway, so not too shocking, I don't think. The next book, I believe, is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, and then I will be totally caught up with this series. I love fairy tale retellings. They're some of my favorite fantasy books, especially when I just need something fun and light and easy to get through. So I definitely recommend this series if any of those things sound up your alley. But overall, this one was a 3.5, rounded up to 4 on Goodreads, and overall I really love how the spread turned out. I always like doing one-page spreads in my journal because they're small, and when you don't have that much to say about them, it's the perfect size, but you still get to use some of your stickers and washi and everything, so I do like how this one turned out. The next spread is for Sunbringer. I read the arc of this, but then I also received my hardcover copy, so I switched to hardcover like halfway through, and oh my gosh, I loved this. This was the second book after God Killer by Hannah Kaner, and I can't say too much without spoiling God Killer, but I really love this. It is so epic and unique, and I love the commentary on faith and gods and religion, and it just has so much that I love about fantasy. So to make this spread, I am using some washi tapes that I got from Mushyworks, as well as on Etsy. I will have it all linked down below, as well as some stickers from Mushyworks. The gods in this story are seen as physical creatures. Some of them are like a deer or a bunny rabbit with wings and antlers. So these stickers on this sheet were just absolutely perfect for the world building of God Killer and Sunbringer. And this is what I pictured in my head when I was reading about these gods, and the whole world building and set dressing I loved, and it was so autumnal and cozy. And I love that when it is set against this really epic storyline. There's so much betrayal happening and battles and violence, and it's just so good. I love it. It is definitely epic high fantasy. There's not really any romance in it, so just a warning if that's what you're looking for. In God Killer, we follow 4 different points of view. One of them is a God Killer, and another is an ex-soldier. Another is a young girl who has this mysterious power. And the 4th is a god who has a connection to that young girl. And in the 2nd book, we follow directly after the conclusion of God Killer, and some of our characters are split up, and we get to really focus mostly on the young girl, the god, and the soldier, whereas the 1st book focuses mostly on the God Killer. And I thought that was done so well to bring more world building and see the different aspects of the conflicts going on. This whole world is split between people who want to have gods and people who don't want to have gods. And then the gods themselves are very manipulative. They feed on people's worship and need people to worship them to stay alive. And it's just very interesting then to also get the POV of a god who is going through the god's struggles. But naturally you want to root for human characters, so sometimes things he said, especially in the 1st book, I was like, ugh, I don't like him very much. But in the 2nd book, I really appreciated his POV, and his chapters were some of my favorites. Our young girl character, she learns a lot about herself and her past and her mother and her own powers that she has, and she's kind of being shaped into this chosen one kind of character, but not like any other fantasy chosen one story at all, in my opinion. She's growing into her own, you know, she's sassy, she's talking back to people, making her own decisions, and I really liked seeing that from her, because in the 1st book she kind of has that helpless, sad puppy aspect to her. The soldier, Elo, he is probably one of my favorite characters of the whole world. He has a really big heart, and he is so conflicted with his feelings about different characters and everything going on around him, because he has such personal ties to, I don't want to give too much away, but he has personal ties to the conflict. And then Kissin, our god killer, is on a different side of the country, learning a bunch of new stuff that I'm sure will be explained and explored in the 3rd book, so I am very excited for that. If you haven't read God Killer and you enjoy epic high fantasy adventures with a kind of found family, read this. I absolutely loved it. The final spread of the month will be Good Omens. I am using washies and stickers from Maragona Suli Art, and I absolutely love how this spread turned out. I love her artwork so much. Anyway, this is a very classic book, Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. I had never read it. I've never seen the show before. There is a show for it, but I did listen to the full cast production of the audiobook, and oh my god, if you like audiobooks, even if you don't like audiobooks, this is so good. David Tennant as Crawley, he's amazing. It makes me want to watch the show, so definitely recommend that. But this was so good. Again, I really love commentaries on religion and faith in my fantasy and just in my literature and media in general. That's just something that's really interesting to me. So this whole story is focused on Armageddon and the coming of the Antichrist and the end of the world, basically. And we follow a bunch of different storylines, honestly. But I would say the main people are Crawley and then Aziraphale. who are a demon and an angel, and they really like humans and the earth, and they have an invested interest in the end of the world, and they're just so funny. The whole book is so funny. I know the quote that I included on this page is, most books on witchcraft will tell you that witches work naked. This is because most books on witchcraft are written by men, and just the humor throughout the whole book is like that, and it's just so good, because then there's another storyline of a witch and a witch hunter. We have Agnes Nutter, who has written all these prophecies that come true, and she's prophesied the end of the world, which is what kind of sparks this whole thing. We have the Antichrist character, who is named Adam, and when he's a baby, he gets mixed up at the hospital, so he ends up being raised just like in the country without having any preparation or knowledge that he is the Antichrist. So really you get to see characters are not fully good or fully evil, especially with Adam. You know, he has these roots of literally being the Antichrist within him, but then he does good things. And my favorite thing that he does is when the Hellhound comes for him, he's supposed to give the Hellhound an order and tell him what to be, but because he has no preparation, he just lets him be a dog, and the Hellhound, this scary creature, ends up just being dog and doing dog-like things, and it's just so funny. If you like Supernatural, while I was listening to the audiobook, I was like, God, a lot of this is similar to certain story beats and characters in Supernatural. I'm a huge Supernatural fan. Well then, I looked it up, and Kripke was definitely inspired by Good Omens to write certain characters and certain storylines, specifically thinking about Crowley, the character, and Adam, the character, and the whole end of the world apocalypse, the Four Horsemen, all of those things. There's a lot of similarities, so if you like the show Supernatural, you should definitely check out Good Omens, and I know it's a total classic and probably most of you have already read it, or at least watched the show or know about it. But if you haven't, oh my god, so good. I had such a good time listening to it. And again, that full cast audiobook, I could not recommend more. So funny, so much fun, which is a funny thing to say about a book about the end of the world and the Antichrist and Armageddon and everything, but yeah. Moving on, I am setting up my March cover page. Because it is March and St. Patrick's Day this month, I wanted to do something green, but I don't have that much green stuff, honestly. So I made it work. I have this amazing St. Patrick's Day Ireland washi tape from Simply Gilded that I used, as well as these sheep stickers from Simply Gilded. And I paired them with some Dark Academia brown and green witchy girls from Maragona Sully Art, and I think it turned out pretty cute, especially considering I didn't have too many options that have green in them. But I actually really like how it looks. If you don't know, sheep are my absolute favorite thing in the whole world. I love them so much. I grew up with sheep. I want to get a sheep tattoo. Like, I love sheep so much, so I knew I needed to use my sheep washi tape and my sheep stickers for March and St. Patrick's Day and everything. So here is what I did with that. And then I am just using my Pigma Micron to ink in everything on the right page. So my title, my little stats section, and my bookshelves. And then I go to town with the decoration. So it's a lot of sheep this month, and books and little flowers. I then go in with my green marker and just make all kinds of sprinkles just to bridge the 2 pages together. I like to do that, and it's super simple and easy, and I like how it looks. And once I have all of my sprinkles and sparkles and stars and dots added in, I am just coloring in my shelf, and that is it for the month. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this monthly update in my reading journal. This month's spreads were very fun to make. I love the stickers and the washies and everything that I got to use. If you like this one, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. And if you'd like to see more from me, be sure to hit subscribe. I will continue posting reading journal content. I am planning on getting back into my Animal Crossing content once I get some motivation to play video games. I've been reading so much lately, and it's been so much fun, and I've been having so much fun making these reading journal videos, so thank you so much for your support on them. I hope that you and yours are staying safe, happy, and healthy, and I will see you again next time. Thanks again. Bye-bye!